Okay, welcome to episode 4 of our little workshops. Welcome to the channel. If you're here for the first time, my name is Yawaye. I'm a fashion designer, I'm a filmmaker, and I'm a consultant in anything that has to do with business and art. And so we're here today to discuss the importance of building a business that can go into autopilot sooner than later. I've always believed in this I've always believed in having a brand, a company that runs autopilot. I'm a very lazy, hardworking person. What that means is basically that I love working, I love hard working, but I don't want to do the same thing over and over and over and over on my own by myself. I like to move on to other things when I feel like okay, other people can step in. So because of that, and also I want a business that can function on its own. I have a family, I have friends, I have a life, I have other things, other projects. I'm always on a project, and so you need to have a business that is in autopilot because you're going to have emergencies. You're going to have maybe you have other businesses that you need to run, and you're just going to have things that requires you to step away sometimes, and you want to be able to step away and still have your business run. And this is not something that happens automatically. This is something you have to set. I believe this is something you have to set forth from the first day that you start your business. And so one day you're going to want to need to be home from your business. You're going to maybe you have kids, family in general. Maybe it's an emergency. Maybe you just want to go on vacation. And in that time, you want your business to run smoothly without anyone calling you all the time, because there's a fire that only you can put out. You also don't want a fire that only you can put out. You want to be, you want to be aware of that there's a fire, but sometimes if you have responsible, capable people in a business, there could be a fire, and you might not hear about it because they took care of it. They found a solution. Maybe you hear about it, but they can take care of it. Your team can take care of it, and that doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen by chance. It's a system you have to put in place. So this is why it's important to adapt the autopilot business plan from day one. And so putting a business on autopilot doesn't mean that you're removing yourself completely. Um, it means that you're building systems so the business runs because of structure, not because of constant effort. And so this is how you do it. There's a few points that we'll go through here. The first one is that you have to stop being the engine and you have to become the architect of the thing. You can't be the engine all the time. You can be in the engine in the beginning, but you need to shift or morph into the architect at some point, or maybe you need to be the engine and the architect at the same time. At the same time that you're running the thing on your own, or maybe one or two people, you're seeing okay, these things I can put into autopilot. These things can, I don't have to do these things. So that's kind of how you want to look at it. You don't want to own a job. You want to own a business. You want a revenue machine that will work just fine when you're not present for whatever reason. And so you don't want decisions to bottleneck at you. You don't want to be the only one that's making. Yes, you make the big decisions, but small decisions, people can take initiatives and do things. Like you're paying these people. I mean, if you have a team that is, I'm talking to people who are wanting to develop a business that requires a team because um, you want a business that would take care of you and your family, and other people that work with you. And so you want to be able to have a team or people around you that can make decisions, small decisions, and while you make the big decisions. The operations, the way the business runs, shouldn't depend on your memory. Operations, there should be an outline, operations for day-to-day work, and it shouldn't be in your memory. It should be noted somewhere, share with the team, so that when you onboard people, people can follow that stuff without you being around. That's why when you get a job, they give you like a pamphlet that tells you like, oh, this is everything that you need to be doing. This is what you need to know. It's not for just it shits and giggles. It's serious. You have to, and you notice that when these systems are put in place, when somebody is out of sync with the system, it's noticeable right away, and it's important. Sales shouldn't depend on your personal presence. If you're not there and your business cannot make any money, that sucks, right? I've been there. I've been there painstakingly where I'm like, man, um, when I used to be well, I still am, but when I used to work on the machine all the time as a celebrity designer, tailor, I used to get jobs all the time, and it got to a point where I was like, man, if you get so many jobs, and when you're good at your job, you get a lot of jobs, and because it's only you, it becomes overwhelming. Even if you have one or two person, sometimes you need more. And so I just thought about it, and I was like, how can I maximize revenue if I'm the only one sitting here all the time working? And you'll be working and they call you for another job, so you have to leave this one and go do the other one. And that industry, they want things yesterday. So you're always working against time. You're always in a hurry. You're rushing through things. I don't like to work that way. And so I found a system to make sure that when I found the system, I used to travel. I'll go to another country, another continent, and do another work there while sorry, while still my business was running. I was just checking in. I took my time to find people that are capable, that are competent, and that have a sense of ownership. And it worked. It worked. It still works. I basically looked around and created a network where people can help me, people can jump in when I'm not there. And I was basically I was front of house, communicating with the customer, with the client, and then I had these people under me that were working. And as soon as I figured that out, it was okay. It was better. I felt better. I had more clients. My clientele grew. The revenue grew. Everything grew, and I had more freedom. I had more space to think. I had more space to work. Like more freedom to work. So you can really create or design a system that will function when you're not there. You really can. But again, it depends on your business. And so you guys, if you're watching this in the comments, let me know if you have a business. Maybe you're having a hard time putting together a system for your business so you can run an autopilot. I'm more than happy to give some advice or share some insights. Moving on to number 2, we need to examine and determine how the business should function day by day. From there, you should know your job and figure out if you need help and how much of it you would need. This is important. When we start a business, passion kills us. Passion kills us because we're so passionate about what we're doing. We don't want to make a mistake. We are anxious at like delegating things to other people. And so we try to monopolize all of the work, and then you become overwhelmed. And when you become overwhelmed, your passion takes a hit. You can become overwhelmed to the point where you start hating the thing that you're passionate about, or you start disliking it. You want to be able to show up every day for your passion, and at the end of the day, feel like, yeah, like you're working, you're in a domain, or you're in a space where you really enjoy it. But being overwhelmed in this way can really just throw you overboard, and people end up giving up. And so you want to first figure out, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is my job. And these are the things that other people can do for me. And then you determine what those roles are. And with everyone's role determined, we should be able to figure out the day to day. We should be able to build a repeatable system that anybody can jump in and just take. Not anybody, but the people who are fit for those roles can jump in and kind of just go, right? So with that, every repeatable activity should be documented. It should be measurable, and it should be delegatable. You should be able to. I don't know if that's a word, but correct me if it's not. You should be able to delegate these things. You really should be able to delegate most of the things that runs your business. I know it's scary to hire people that will get this, but you have to keep at it in order for it to work. You're not going to get amazing people right away. Yeah, sometimes you can if you're lucky, but it takes some work at it to get there, and you will get there if you keep trying. If it's not written, it's not scalable. So you really have to figure out these systems out and write them down and share with the team, and they can go there when anyone is confused or out of line. Just go there and look at our Bible, basically. Um, we want to hire three. We want to hire for ownership, not just skill. What does that mean? Ownership. When you have people to hire, they're in the market. Most people are just looking for a job, looking for it to make money. Someone looking for a job and someone chasing a dream or excellence or um, something that they're looking to own are not the same thing. So you need to find the person that is going to own their job. Like this is the person that shows up first and leaves last, like you. This is the person that takes initiatives. This is the person that knows how to solve problems, how to anticipate things. Um, And so you need to hire people who have a sense of ownership, especially if you're not going to be there, because somebody needs to take charge. I always say when I hire people, I want you to take your business like it's mine. At the end of the day, this business has to make money to pay you. So if you're not taking like it's yours, and I always have to come in and overperform so you have to pay you, what's the point? What's the point of me doing two people's job if I have, or three or four people's job, five people around me who can own the job? You're being paid to work. I'm not being paid to work. You're being paid to work. So you should be concerned about making sure this machine doesn't crash or this machine can keep going. You see? So we want to hire people who own their position, own the company vision, commit to the end goal. There's a certain part of your business you arrive when you can hire people who just need jobs, but people who are looking to be but people um, are looking to be. Hold on, I'm reading something here. There's a certain part of your business you'll arrive where you can hire people who are just looking for a job or people who are looking to be part of something. Yes, if you do this correctly, you should be just reviewing reports, giving timely directions, feedback, overlooking the general operation. You come in, how's everything going? Okay, is this running smoothly? Okay, are you doing what you're supposed to be doing? Okay, you look at the numbers. The numbers will tell you if people are working or not. And then you move on. And then you move on to the next task, the next business or family or whatever it is that you need to do. Um, Overlooking the general operations instead of being spread thin, working 3 to 4 positions in your business. Some may say hiring requires money, and it does, and you're going to have to find it. I'm sorry. Don't allow the lack of money keep you from growing from growing, basically. Hiring people is growing. You need to grow. Like if you want a business to grow, so people you need people for that business to grow. So um, you have to find the money. If you have to hustle for it, get a second job. I don't care what you have to do, but that business needs people to. You need help so that it becomes something that can feed more than one person. If it's just you, it's only going to feed you, and if it's feeding more than one person, it's painstaking. It's a lot of work. You're building a business, not a hobby. Hiring needs to start happening as soon as possible when you start your business, as soon as possible. Um, the need to hire is actually a sign of growth, or at least a desire to grow. Moving on to four. You need to. So when you're developing an autopilot business, you start the business, you get familiar with things, you go through the challenges, you figure things out, and you go through that process of just working by yourself, being by yourself, doing things by yourself, and then you hire people. You start hiring people. People start doing things for you. You have to start like gradually disappearing so they can handle it on their own. I have team members who text me about things that's wrong in my business or something that a problem, and I just ignore them. Sometimes I ignore them. Sometimes I tell them, figure it out. I'm busy. It's tough love, but it works. It works. They end up figuring it out. As long as it's not a big thing and you feel like the person can figure it out, they'll figure it out. And so you have to remove yourself gradually, little by little by little by little. You go from checking in 4 times a day, 4 times a week, to checking in 3 times a week, two times a week, 1 time a week. Maybe not at all, but you're watching. You're keeping track of what's going on in your business. You're watching, right? You're not disappearing. You're just not there physically all the time. You shouldn't be there physically all the time. Um, so autopilot is staged in this way. First, you start by doing everything, and then you delegate execution, and then you delegate decisions, and then you review metrics, and then you become strategic or optional, right? Um, you start by doing everything yourself, and then you get people, and you start delegating a little bit. So you start delegating people to do stuff, and then you start delegating people making decisions. I ask my team members all the time, "What do you think? We have a problem here. What do you think?" Sometimes I just sometimes I know the answer. Sometimes I don't want to think, and I give them that power. I give them their moment. What do you think? And most times they come up with good answers. Sometimes it's a half a good answer, but it's something. It's a half a good solution, I want to say, but it's something, and then I add to it, and then we go. But if it's good, or sometimes even if it's not amazing, I allow the person to try it out just so they can follow through and see it through, and they learn. And you have to do that. That's part of the training, and you're doing that. This is time you're investing into yourself, because this is going to come back to help you, to give you a little bit of freedom. We shouldn't start businesses to just be locked up in them. And some of us have quit our day jobs, because we we didn't want to work all the time, but we're entrepreneurs working 24/7, 7 days a week, and we don't want to do that forever. You shouldn't do that forever. You shouldn't do that for a long time. When you're doing that for a long time, something is wrong. And so most founders quit at stage 2 and think they've delegated. Yeah, a lot of people don't go past stage 2, delegating execution, because they they're afraid, to let other people decide what goes on in their business. You're not giving the person full authority. You're just allowing them to own their position, to own what they're doing. And true freedom really comes at stage 4, reviewing your metrics. You're just coming in and checking in. That's true freedom. And last but not least, you accept the trade-off, right? You accept the trade-off. Autopilot usually means a slower growth, right? Because you have to focus on the engine, the machine that's running the details, and work the details and perfect the small things and the big things. You have to invest in people. That costs money. It takes time to get that capital unless you have an investor. You have to let go of perfection. Chase perfection, but don't get stuck at perfection or the lack of perfection. And you have lower margins for a bit, but it's okay. If you don't give up, you make it. It's cliche to say, but just keep going. It's going to work out. In the long term, you have a higher valuation. You have less stress, and you'll be able to scale at a greater level, and be able to really scale. So yeah, that's it. Autopilot. It's really important. This is a really important subject. Nobody taught me this. It's something that I just had to do, just because I saw the future. I looked into the future, and I'm like, man, I'm gonna have a family. I'm gonna have. This was back in the days, about 8 years ago or more. Yeah, I want to do other things around the world in my life, so I don't want to be stuck, just doing the same thing every day, or having to be in my business every day. I want people to have jobs. Giving jobs is also helping people. That is a community service. I want my thing to be able to feed me and other people and share with other people. So autopilot is really important, and this is my take on how you do it. If you like this video, like it please, comment, please subscribe. It will help the channel. I really appreciate everybody that watches this. Thank you so much. And again, my name is Yawaye, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.